Welcome now to Saints in the Shadows. Hear the stories of the saints, learn about things you never knew. See if you can figure out who the saint is before the end.
All right. The one today is called The Man Who Believed to Understand. There are some questions that refuse to stay quiet. They tap on the mind in the early hours. They linger long after prayers end. They do not ask whether God exists, but who God is, and whether the human mind dares to inquire. In the 11th century, while kingdoms clawed at one another and faith was often inherited rather than examined, there lived a man who believed something radical. That faith was not the end of thinking, but its beginning. This is why for tonight we'll call him the man who believed to understand. He was born far from centers of power in the alpine town of Aosta, where roads narrowed, mountains towered, and thoughts had room to stretch. His mother taught him to pray. His father taught him discipline. And between them he developed a mind both restless and reverent. As a boy, he dreamt, literally, of climbing a mountain to meet God. The dream stayed with him long after childhood slipped away. But dreams do not always travel straight in life. After his mother's death, conflict with his father drove him from home. Excuse me. Man, he wandered through Burgundy, through France, learning, reading, arguing, absorbing. He was brilliant. He knew it. And yet brilliance alone did not satisfy him. Knowledge without meaning is hunger without bread. Eventually he arrived at a place known not for wealth or power, but for thought. The Abbey of Bec in Normandy. There, the man who believed to understand found something he had not expected. Silence. In that silence, the questions returned, but softer now, steadier. He entered the monastery not as an escape from thinking, but as a laboratory for it. Here, prayer and intellect worked together like lungs and heart. And here, he wrote. He began with a simple but audacious conviction. Faith seeks understanding. Not faith replaced by reason, not reason resigning over faith, but faith inviting the mind to follow where belief has already dared to go. He did not begin by proving God to skeptics. He began by addressing believers, asking, can what we believe be understood? His answer was startling. In one quiet meditation, more prayer than argument, he posed a thought so elegant it would echo for centuries. If we can conceive of a being greater than which nothing can be conceived, he wrote, then such a being cannot exist merely in the mind, for existence itself is a greatness. This was not meant as a parlor trick. It was devotion in logic's clothing. The man who believed to understand had prayed his way into philosophy. His reputation grew, not because he chased it, but because ideas have a way of escaping cloisters. Nobles sought counsel, scholars quoted him, and eventually the crown noticed. He was summoned to England. Reluctantly, painfully, he was made Archbishop of Canterbury. And here the story tightens. For the man who loved quiet questions now found himself in loud conflicts with kings who believed bishops should be appointed like officers, kings who believed authority flowed downward, kings who believed obedience was owed even when conscience rebelled. The man who believed to understand, believed differently. He defended the freedom of the church to choose its shepherds. He refused royal investiture. He resisted pressure. With courtesy, with firmness, and a great personal cost, he was exiled. He returned. He was exiled again. Each time he kept writing, thinking, praying, because truth once seen does not recant for comfort. In his final years, after peace had reluctantly settled, the man who believed to understand completed his work not in grand treaties, but in clarity. He wrote on why God became man, not poetically, not necessarily, but because reason itself, he argued, demanded redemption. The mind, he believed, could glimpse the contours of grace without dissolving its mystery. He died in 1109, quietly, faith intact, mind unclouded. But that's not the end. The man who believed to understand did not reduce God to arguments. He refused to pit reason against belief because he knew both came from the same source. His legacy shaped theology, philosophy, and the very way the Western Church learned to think about God. He taught generations that questions are not enemies of faith, that thinking is a form of reverence, that belief can be bold enough to ask why. And the man, monk, exile, archbishop, thinker, well, he had a name carried in classrooms and cloisters alike, a name spoken wherever logic kneels in prayer. His name was Anselm, Saint Anselm of Canterbury, doctor of the faith of the church, teacher of faith, seeking understanding. All right, so Saint Anselm is commemorated on this coming Tuesday, April 21st.
Oh,
so, and I'm just going to give this right away, and then I'll talk a little bit about him. The drink is called the El Magnifico, which is basically a liquor version of a dreamsicle. It's orange liqueur, vanilla liqueur, and a shot of heavy cream. So, like a vanilla orange with cream. So, take that.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, right. And again, this is another one of those times where it's like, honestly, you could find, if you could find like any drink that just had kind of an orange flavor. I mean, again, orange flavor with a vanilla flavor and a little bit of heavy cream, you could make in essence a dreamsicle drink of any variety.
Yeah, sure.
And then the dish is it's called chicken tikka masala. It's more of a Mediterranean kind of a chicken dish. I don't have all the ingredients or anything on it. It looked interesting. Definitely look that one up. Maybe add it to your routine. It was good. So, so just to kind of flesh some things out, if you haven't figured it out, Saint Anselm, maybe you know of him, maybe you don't, but he was big in the philosophical world. He was known for bringing to light what's known as the ontological question, the question about God. So very smart man, very well-known man. And, so when I saw it was his day, I was like, oh, well, I know this one. You take any philosophy 1 class and his name is going to come up. He is still read to this day. Some of his stuff is still very much out there. So anyway, just very much a thinker and had a lot of philosophical bearings about him. So very good. So there you go.
Nice.
All right. And we'll close it out.
And so it ends. The light shines in the shadow. And now you know more about the story of one of the saints of history.